Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, and how we're going to fix this bad boy together. We are charting a course towards freedom, backhanding tyranny wherever we find it, to and fro. And this video is your feel-good video of the week. I guarantee it. You're going to love every second of it because we have got multiple states, gun-controlling states, sending letters to the ATF and the court saying, please, please, God, don't let the FRTs come back into our borders because they're weapons of mass destruction. Cope and seethe, lefties. Cope and seethe. Everything's going to be linked in the description box below. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn the notification bell on if you are in for that course of freedom as described earlier. Get the backhands ready because this one, you're going to smile. Make sure to follow at BradenLOA on X to see this as it happens. Let's get into it. All right. Here's where we've been on this journey so far together, guys. Now, what we're talking about, if you're not familiar, is the FRTs. These are forced reset triggers. In a very high level, without getting into too many of the details, we don't really need to, the force reset trigger is a trigger that makes something function better. Doesn't make it go automatic. The court said it's not a machine gun, ATF said it's a machine gun, and stole a bunch of people's property. Well, the court said give it back, and the letters began. In fact, what you see right here on the screen is our first one, where the ATF was sending letters to these people who they took their property, saying, mea culpa, we kind of goofed and the court made us give it back. Here's your letter of apology. Sorry. That was last week. Now, currently, yesterday, or day before yesterday, we had some people getting letters that saying, hey, you're not getting this back. Listen. Thank you for providing additional details, individual. However, as stated in the notice, the court order requiring return of certain FRTs only applies to the parties to the litigation, specifically the three named individual plaintiffs and commercial and individual members as of August 9, 2023, to two organizations, NAGR and Texas Gun Rights. As you're not a member, you don't get it. All right, well, that's an interesting take because now look what the left is doing around the states. And by the way, I love that we're in this point where this is the standard of a play. We're just going to mock the tyrants. All right, anyway, here's the actual article, letter rather. This is from basically, I guess the best way to say it would be New Jersey's Attorney General on behalf of multiple states. And as you can see here, this is absolutely beautiful freakout by the 16 states that tried to intervene in our forced reset trigger case. They're screaming at the court that the ATF is, quote, returning the triggers. Destruction and mayhem are imminent. Per usual on the lefty gun control front. Let's dive into this letter penned by the state of New Jersey from the Attorney General Matthew Platkin, gun controller extraordinaire. Let's dive in. Of course, this is in reference to the National Association for Gun Rights against Bondi because it changed because we got a new AG. Hashtag we kicked their butts. All right, let's keep going. Dear Mr. Casey, or Case, however you want to say, amici states write to notify that the court that appellants have begun the process of returning confiscated force reset triggers in light of the court deadline imposed by the district court in the order of appeal. The return of these weapons presents a significant and irreparable danger to public safety and underscores the need for a prompt ruling from this court reversing the district court's final judgment and order. Although amici states are mindful they lack party status in this case, they are writing to apprise the court of this notable development. All right, let's just break that down. We aren't in the case, and we know we're not in the case, and we know we have no standing in the case. But despite all that, could you please do something for us? No, we can't. Oh, goodness gracious. But listen, these weapons, keep in mind, this is literally a trigger group. These weapons, a trigger. These weapons, irreparable damage, and these insane amounts of just public danger, safety, it underscores the need to basically do something that we have no grounds to even request. You are winning. Let's continue. Appellant's notice of compliance confirms the significant challenges posed by the return requirement, including the federal government's inability to identify the owners of confiscated FRTs. Maybe you shouldn't have taken them in the first place. If you're not going to be able to say who you took them from in case that you did something unconstitutional, which you did, and the court said you had to give them back, doesn't it make good sense that you'd want to know where to send them when you goofed? But that's okay. That's not what this is about. This is about safety. However, given the impending court-ordered deadline, appellants have taken several steps to initiate a return process. While it is unclear whether any FRT returns have been effectuated to this point, well, we know some have. Let's just call it what it is. Let's continue. At least some returns appear imminent. As detailed in our amicus brief, the return of FRTs presents a serious threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the amici states and their residents, subjecting them to greater risk of devastating gun violence and associated law enforcement and healthcare costs. Let me break that down for you. There's no evidence that these things are going into our states, but the mere release of these things into states that aren't our states, they go towards the threat of health, safety, and welfare of these 16 states, which aren't even in the court dock, aren't even part of the plaintiff group, and aren't even involved in this at all. But it makes me uncomfortable. Guys, like literally, the backhand of justice is like just slapping people everywhere. They are resulting to this. We have no standing, but please God, do something because we've just plain lost. Let's continue. The greater risk of devastating gun violence. A trigger group, which, by the way, goes in an AR-15, which, by the way, is the smallest share of any type of violence that exists out there in that bucket that they created. I mean, like, this literally is just, it's laughable. Anyway, moreover, although appellants promise not to return FRTs in the states that prohibit them, appellants have not provided any information regarding which states they believe are excluded. You haven't actually said you're sending them into our states, but you also haven't said which states you're not going to send them into. But also, you don't know where they go, and also you don't have exactly the idea of where you took them from. But just in case you did, this is a very serious problem, so we probably shouldn't send any out at all. The cyclical logic of which we are facing here from the Attorney General of New Jersey is comical. Anyway, let's continue. Appellants have not provided any information regarding which state they believe are excluded, potentially leaving amici states at the mercy of the federal government's interpretation of their own state laws. Oh my goodness gracious. Amici states respectfully submit that a prompt decision from this court reversing the district court's order is needed to prevent the continued proliferation of these dangerous devices. Proliferation of these dangerous devices that were already in circulation, that never did anything wrong or created a crime ever when they were in circulation until they were taken, and now giving them back to the same people who had them in circulation after you unlawfully took them in an unconstitutional order. All of a sudden, that's going to create a threat, even though the threat was already there. Guys, it is laughable. We are getting to the point where we just start mocking people. It's that dumb. Let's go back to NAGR's post. You're going to cry about it? It doesn't even make sense why you're crying. You have no standing to send it. You have no evidence of anything happening in your state. You have no evidence of anything even going back. You've highlighted the fact you don't even know where they're going, nor does the ATF. And all you're citing the concerns are is the fact that they very exist is the big problem, even though they were already legal in your state to begin with. Guys, if you want to know what winning looks like, this is what winning looks like. When you have attorneys general from gun control states writing letters like this, you are winning, and I'm here for it, and I hope that made your day like I think that it did. And I will let you know on the next one how I feel in the comments. Let me know what you think down there, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. Later.